The happiness trap, how evolution hijacked our minds. Why are so many of us struggling with anxiety, stress, and feelings of inadequacy in a world that's safer and more comfortable than ever before? It's a paradox that seems impossible to explain until you consider the fact that our minds have not evolved for the modern world. Instead, they're stuck in a Stone Age survival mode, and that's what we're going to explore today. Welcome to The Happiness Trap, how evolution hijacked our minds. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying a conversation you had earlier in the day, worrying about whether you said the right thing? Or maybe you've scrolled through social media, feeling a pang of envy or inadequacy when you see someone else's seemingly perfect life. If you have, you're not alone. These experiences are incredibly common, and today, we're going to unpack why that is and how you can break free from these patterns. The evolutionary roots of our minds. To understand why we struggle with these feelings, we need to go back in time, way back. Imagine you're a caveman or cavewoman living 200,000 years ago. Life is dangerous, unpredictable, and your survival depends on being hypervigilant. Your mind is constantly on the lookout for threats: wild animals, rival clans, the looming threat of starvation. If your mind wasn't good at predicting or avoiding danger, you simply wouldn't survive. This constant state of alertness, this ever-present anxiety, was a survival mechanism. It helped our ancestors stay alive long enough to pass on their genes. But here's the catch. Those same survival mechanisms are still active in our brains today, even though the world around us has drastically changed. For example, back then, spotting a shadow in the distance and assuming it was a predator, even if it turned out to be just a tree branch, was a safer bet than ignoring it and getting eaten. This is what we call the negativity bias. Our brains are wired to notice threats more than positive or neutral stimuli because historically, our survival depended on it.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your support means the world to me. I also want to use this opportunity to encourage all of you to share this channel with as many people as possible. Why? Because sharing is caring. This channel is dedicated to helping people improve their happiness and well-being, and we all know the power of communication. So by sharing this channel, you are not only helping your friends, family, and colleagues, but you're also helping us to grow and reach more people. Together, we can create a community of happy, resilient, and highly productive people, and that's a win-win situation for everyone. So let's spread the word and make a positive impact. Thank you again for watching, and please do not forget to hit the share button and have a great day. Now, let's go back to this important video.
Is the modern mind an outdated tool? Fast forward to the present day. Our world is drastically different, safer, more predictable, and filled with comforts our ancestors could never have imagined. But our minds, they're still stuck in that ancient survival mode. The same mechanisms that kept us alive in the Stone Age now manifest as chronic anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction. Let's take a common example: public speaking. For many, the mere thought of standing in front of a group triggers intense fear. Why? Because in the context of our evolutionary history, being judged by others, especially negatively, could have had serious consequences. If you were ostracized by your tribe, your chances of survival plummeted. So your brain developed a hypersensitivity to social rejection. Now, even though giving a presentation at work won't lead to life-threatening consequences, your brain still reacts as if it could. It triggers the same fight-or-flight response that would have been necessary if you were facing a real physical threat. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your mind goes blank. Classic signs of your brain overreacting to what it perceives as danger. Psychological impact: anxiety, fear, and dissatisfaction. Let's break this down further. The anxiety you feel before a big event? That's your mind preparing for a potential threat. Back in the Stone Age, this was useful. Maybe it helped you survive an encounter with a predator. But today, it can lead to sleepless nights and overwhelming stress, even when there's no real danger. Another way this manifests is through our modern obsession with social comparison. In a small tribe, it was crucial to fit in, to contribute, and to avoid being ostracized. Your survival depended on it. But today, our social circles are enormous, amplified by social media. We're constantly bombarded with images and stories of others who seem to have more, do more, and be more. This ramps up our fear of not being good enough, of being judged or rejected, even though our survival no longer depends on it. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you compare yourself to others? Maybe it's a colleague who seems to have it all together, or a friend who's always traveling to exotic places. How does that make you feel? Chances are, it leaves you feeling like you're falling short, like you're not measuring up. But remember, this is your Stone Age brain at work, trying to ensure you fit in with the tribe, even though the tribe today is a global virtual network of millions of people. The drive for more, craving and dissatisfaction. And what about that constant craving for more money, more possessions, more success? It's rooted in the survival instinct to gather resources to ensure safety and security. Our ancestors, who were more driven to seek out food, shelter, and tools, had a better chance of surviving and passing on their genes. But in our world of abundance, this craving can become insatiable, leading to greed, dissatisfaction, and a perpetual feeling that nothing is ever enough. Consider this. How many times have you bought something new, a phone, a car, a piece of clothing, only to feel that initial thrill fade away, leaving you wanting something else, something more? This is known as the hedonic treadmill, where we quickly adapt to new possessions and achievements, and they no longer bring the satisfaction we expected. We're constantly chasing happiness, but the more we get, the more we want. Psychological research has shown that this relentless pursuit of more can lead to chronic dissatisfaction. Instead of appreciating what we have, we're always focused on what we don't have or what we might lose. This mindset keeps us trapped in a cycle of craving, never fully content with our lives. Breaking the happiness trap. So, how do we escape this happiness trap? The first step is understanding that these thought patterns aren't defects. They're simply the mind doing what it evolved to do. But just because they're natural doesn't mean they have to control us. We can retrain our minds to work with us, not against us. Mindfulness and meditation, for example, are powerful tools for calming the mind and breaking free from the constant fight or flight response. These practices teach us to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them, reducing anxiety and stress. Studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice can actually rewire the brain, increasing the activity in areas associated with positive emotions and decreasing activity in areas linked to stress and anxiety. Cognitive behavioral techniques can help us challenge and reframe negative thoughts. When your mind starts predicting the worst, you can question those thoughts and replace them with more balanced, realistic perspectives. For example, if you're worried about an upcoming presentation, instead of thinking I'm going to fail and everyone will judge me, you can remind yourself, I've prepared for this, and I'll do my best. Even if it doesn't go perfectly, it's not the end of the world. Gratitude practices shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, countering the brain's natural tendency to crave more. By regularly reflecting on what we're thankful for, we can cultivate a sense of contentment and peace, even in a world that's constantly pushing us to want more. Research shows that people who regularly practice gratitude experience more positive emotions, sleep better, and even have stronger immune systems. So, the next time you find yourself caught in a cycle of anxiety, comparison, or craving, remember, your mind isn't defective. It's simply doing the job it evolved to do. The key to happiness isn't changing the world around us, but changing the way we relate to our own minds. Understanding the evolutionary roots of our mental habits can empower us to take control of our thoughts and emotions. It's about being compassionate with ourselves, recognizing when our Stone Age brain is overreacting and gently guiding it back to the present moment. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the happiness trap. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. And if you're ready to take the next step in retraining your mind, check out the links in the description for resources and guided practices. Together, we can all learn to break free from the evolutionary traps that hold us back and find true happiness in the modern world. Remember, happiness isn't something you find outside of yourself. It's something you cultivate within. Let's work on it together. See you next time.